All right, welcome back to Decryptedtech. What we're looking at today is we're looking at the Asus utilities, the AISuite. This is Dual Intelligent Processors 4 on the Z87 Expert board from Asus. You're looking at the screen here. This is after we've gone through and we've gone ahead and overclocked the CPU. As you can see, we're at 4.8 gigahertz. And you can look at the individual cores, see what each one's doing. If you're actually running it differently, per core, most of the time you're overclocking, you're going to hit all of them at the same time. You can also see that here you can click this and it's going to automatically detect the best configuration, which is kind of nice if you're just looking to get a base overclock, something really simple. So not going to stress your system too much. You can also look at the TPU, where your bootstrap is. Right now we have this set for 100 megahertz. You can adjust it all the way up to 250 megahertz. That's if you're really pushing things, getting some extreme overclocking. This lists our CPU performance as about a 31% overclock. We do have the B clock at 101. So 101 times 48 gives us our speed here. The fan expert, which is all here, is going to show you what the individual fans are doing. We only have one fan connected to one of the fan headers on the board. So as you can see, we have the one that's going to show up blue. The other ones are going to show up in red. And as you hover the mouse, it's going to give you a little display here. You can, of course, zoom in, and you can also click on the benchmark button to see exactly how your fans are going. In the energy saving, over here under the EPU section, you can see we're not saving any power. Pretty much we've got it overclocked, so you're not going to save power. You're going to use extra power to get it there. Your add-on SATA power, add-on USB power. Right now that's set to away mode. You can click on the little gears. It's going to open up the configuration box here. So we'll go ahead and close that. Okay, over here with the configured maximum CPU power, you can set it up and you can tell it what speed you want it to, basically what's the most you want to draw. Down here, it's going to show you the actual CPU power depending upon what's going on. And then, of course, you have your different power savings. We're not saving any power. Over here on the side, you have the different power saving options. For those of you that are used to working with Asus before and their EPU, you can actually set each one of these to auto high performance, which is what you're going to run when you're overclocking. You can set it to max power saving, away mode, which is kind of like a sleep mode, all of that. These are all options that are kind of generic headers. Clicking on TPU, this is going to take us to another section here. It's going to take you in here. It's going to show you what you've got going on. You can see the individual processors. You can adjust the B clock frequency, the ratio, the CPU cache ratio, all of that. And you can also tune everything by one group. These are going to be your CPU frequencies. Down here at the bottom, things are going to stay the same. Your temperature, voltage, and fan speed. You can click over here, and that's going to show you your bootstrap. This is just a much more graphical way than on that front kind of primary screen. Now in here you can also, let's go back. You have an option to set your voltages. So this is going to be where you actually configure the voltage, CPU cache voltage, the actual main voltage, DDR voltage. All of that can be configured right from inside this screen. Same thing with GPU boost. This is where you can overclock the GPU straight from this screen inside. Some of this stuff will require a reboot. Some of this stuff won't, so you can overclock directly inside Windows. It's a pretty nice application here. All right, we'll move on to the DigiPulse power control, your CPU line, load line calibration, thermal, CPU power, thermal control, current capacity. Then, of course, you have your different phases. When you set up your power phases, we set ours to extreme whenever we're overclocking for obvious reasons. CPU fixed frequency or voltage. You got spread spectrum. We actually turn this off for most of our overclocking. Active frequency mode is something that's a little bit newer. You can look over here. You have your CPU power duty control. You can either use T-probe or extreme, and you have your explanations of those over off to the side. And you can also take a look at your DRAM. What's your DRAM current capacity? What's your power phase control? Your voltage frequency. It's going to give you a kind of an overview of what that is there. All right, moving on to, actually let's take one step back and we'll go back to EPU. Under the EPU here, you can manually adjust the individual profiles. These are the ones that we showed you. So you have your high performance. It's going to set up your sleep times, your monitor off times, your maximum power saving. All that's going to be inside here. Voltage decrement. It's auto or manual. Configured maximum CPU power, so you can set that up. Away mode, same thing. This is going to be your sleep mode, and it'll show you where your add-on power is going to be set up. So The add-on power is if you want power still to go to a port when this is set up in its sleep mode. So if it's not attached, you can cut off power. You can do all those different things there. Fan Expert. This is one where you can run the fan tuning. It's going to read each of your individual fans in different places, and it's going to identify them and say, okay, here's this fan, this is what it's capable of. And when it goes through all of this, you're going to have your different modes you can use. You see, this is telling us we need to do the fan tuning, which we haven't done. And you have your standard, turbo, full speed. Since what we're using is liquid cooling, we're not going to run this because we have a lot of this turned off in the BIOS in order to make sure that the pump and the fans are running at full capacity all the time. So this covers everything you've got in the new Asus AISuite. Again, it's clean. They've been working on this a lot to make sure it's clean, it's quick, and it's going to give you, the information that you need. You have your different settings here. So Asus has done a really good job on cleaning up the applications that they use inside the system. A lot of these before were kind of clunky and maybe not the best utilities for everyone from the enthusiast all the way down to an end user. This has cleaned it up and made it just much more accessible for anybody who's using the system. So that covers what we've got to talk about with the Z87 Expert and the new AISuite. Okay, moving on, one of the other features that we're going to look at on the Z87 Expert is their Wi-Fi Go. Asus has been working on this for a while. It's kind of their suite of applications to work over their built-in Wi-Fi on some of their boards. You have your Cloud Go. It's going to turn your PC into a cloud server. You have your remote desktop that lets you connect in using Asus's particular application over Wi-Fi, whether you're on a tablet, Android phone, whatever. DLNA Media Hub, you can set it up. You can use the storage that's here, plug in a USB device, and suddenly this becomes a mobile storage product. You can send that out to any of the media players, the Neomax TVs, Google TV, anything that can read DLNA. It's going to pick it up from here, and you're going to be able to see it. Wi-Fi file transfer, if I can slow down for a second, allows you just to transfer files between your system and a mobile device, whether it's a laptop or a tablet or something like that. Your smart sensor control, this lets you turn your device into a kind of like a pointer, so you can control that. You have remote keyboard and mouse, same thing. You get a little keyboard set up on your tablet. You can work directly on here. Capture and send allows you to take screenshots, and you can send them to Wi-Fi device, phone, whatever. So it's kind of a nice little suite of applications. We've used some of them. Some of them work well. Others still a little bit picky as far as the actual information that transfers back and forth over the wireless. But other than that, it's a nice inclusion that Asus gives you to make their products a little bit more functional. It's a great feature. Some of it you'll use, a lot of it you probably will never ever use, but it's nice that Asus is including it in there because it kind of covers a lot of different bases. So as always, if you like this video, be sure to click on the like button. Be sure you subscribe to us so you can stay up to date with the news and reviews we have for you, and make sure you share. Thanks.